Well, this is funny. After I finished recording this gameplay of Lords of the Fallen, uh, the game crashed and it started to lag like crazy. So the other types of gameplay will probably be another Souls-like or Call of Duty. But the point of this video isn't why my computer can't run stable high FPS, right? But the point of this video is why modern gaming feels so empty. But I wanted to ask you a question. If that I've been wrestling with for a long time, when was the last time a video game actually made you feel something? I don't mean like a quick spike of dopamine because you hit a new rank, but I don't mean the temporary satisfaction of unlocking a new cosmetic skin. I mean true, deep, unshakable immersion. The kind of feeling where you finally turn off the console, or you sit in a dark room staring at a blank monitor for 5 minutes, and you kind of just process the world you were just a part of. For most of us, that feeling is becoming incredibly rare. That's exactly what I'm maybe going to attempt to break down. Because if you look past the marketing hype, the trailers, and the corporate press releases, the reality of the industry right now is something almost every single one of us is feeling. Modern gaming feels completely empty. We're living in an era where video games are technically flawless compared to what we grew up with. The graphics are photorealistic, the lighting engines are mind-blowing. I mean, listen, the new Resident Evil Requiem is amazing. I played through it, it's sick, but the map sizes, they're like thousands of square miles like certain games, and we are more globally connected to other players than at any other point in human history. But every measurable metric on a corporate boardroom spreadsheet, gaming should be in its absolute golden age, but it's not. It feels entirely lifeless sometimes. But the reason is simple. Games are no longer being designed by artists who want to build a world. They're kind of being engineered by data analysts and behavioral psychologists who want to build a habit. Now, I'm not saying this is the case for all games. Of course, there are so many games that don't do this, but there's a big marketplace of human attention. Look at almost any modern multiplayer launch today. You don't boot into a game anymore, you boot into a digital marketplace. Before you can even click on the matchmaking button, your screen is like flashbang greeted by a chaotic, like overstimulating mess of menus trying to sell you something. So you got battle passes, you got daily challenges, you got premium currency, tier fucking skips, and limited time fucking event pop-ups. These are explicitly designed to trigger your anxiety and your fear of missing out. No good. But everything about the user interface is optimized to remind you that you are a consumer first and a player second. The game loop is no longer about mastering, say, a mechanic or enjoying a story. It's kind of about filling up a progression bar, let's say, so you can get a tiny hit of dopamine before the system resets next season and demands more of your time. I have like thousands of hours on CS2, for example. And ever since the new like armory rotation and no changes to, like the VAC system for cheaters and the ranking, it's just, I don't know, it just felt kind of pointless after a while, like it's not like I'm trying to grind the game. I mean, I love playing the game for fun with my friends and all that. But after like a few years, I don't know, it just, I suppose maybe sometimes life gets in the way, or it didn't feel the same anymore, And the absolute worst part of certain designs in video games is what it's done to the social aspect of gaming. Is you jump into a lobby of 100 other real human beings, and yeah, it feels like the loneliest place on earth. Nobody uses their microphones to just joke around or talk trash or make casual friends anymore. I mean, it can happen. For me, it's happened in Arc Raiders, it's happened sometimes in CS2 and Call of Duty, but not as much as I used to expect, right? Nobody uses, like, I don't know, everyone's muted, right? You're huddled on private Discord calls, or it's completely silent. Like, lobbies are immediately disbanded by the algorithm, or the second a match ends to keep you moving through the matchmaking pipeline. But everything you encounter can be a silent avatar. I'm not going to go down a deep end where a lot of the internet is AI or bots, but sometimes it's just like avatar hyper focused on chasing a meta loadout or running an optimized XP route, or I don't know, showing off a $20 skin they bought to feel unique in a game where everyone looks exactly the same. Isn't it the soul or the chaos and the organic humanity is being drained out of the experience? But instead, it's being replaced by a cold transactional loop that treats your attention like a resource, right, to be mined. Here's how it mirrors in the real world. Like, the more I sit here and run through these, let's say, these solo sessions, the more I realize that this emptiness isn't just a failure of modern game development. I think it's more of a symptom of something much deeper. The reason modern games feel so hollow, or transactional, and isolated is because they're perfect. They're funneled reflection of the exact world we are living in right now. The tech industry didn't invent this emptiness, they just figured out how to digitize it, skin it, and sell it back to us for maybe $70. But think about how we navigate modern society on a daily basis. Is that we have hyper optimized our real lives for the exact same things publishers optimize their games for. Convenience, speed, absolute efficiency. I mean, we live in I'd say hyper connected cities, like it's run by thousands of people, but we scroll through feeds containing millions of voices, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. And I don't know, the actual baseline of organic human community is completely evaporated. You've got echo chambers. I mean, we've shifted into an era of, let's say, extreme hyper-individualism where everyone treats themselves as the absolute main character of reality. But everyone else is viewed as just a background NPC. You know, think about like walking through a crowded city street or like a grocery store or some shit. Nobody looks really each other in the eye anymore. You know, everyone has their own, you know, you have your earbuds jammed in, your head's tilted down, the eyes locked into a 5-inch piece of glass. You know, it's closed off from the physical environment. But the human beings, we're standing inches away from them. I think we treat our real-world interactions kind of the same way we treat modern multiplayer lobbies. They're low-stakes, transactional moments that should be avoided or minimized. You know, you order your food through an app so you don't have to speak to a person at a counter. Maybe you use the self-checkout machine so you don't have to make eye contact with a cashier. Maybe you have systematically removed the small, messy, and predictable frictions of casual human interactions because convenience is easier. Okay, look, that take might be wrong in itself, and it's easy to argue against that. Really, really easy. I already know the argument against it. I know, but I'm just speaking from a place like a ramble. Oh, fuck it, I don't know what I was just rambling. Okay, but look, there's an anonymity pandemic. Right? It's like it creates like a lingering sense of total anonymity, right? It's a terrifying modern paradox where you can be more digitally connected, right, than any human generation before you, you know, accessible to the entire planet at the click of a button, but you're simultaneously feeling completely visible at the same time. Like in the past, human identity was anchored by physical places or real-world groups. You belonged to a specific neighborhood, a physical workplace, a local spot maybe where people actually knew your name, your history, and your flaws. But today, our identities are completely untethered. We exist in a massive digital void where you have to constantly maybe perform or post and curate our lives just to prove to the world that we are still here. We chase likes, views, and online engagement the exact same way we chase weapon camos and achievements. Maybe part of it is because we're looking for validation, but from an algorithmic feed, because the real world structures that used to give us a sense of place and belonging have kind of been hollowed out. Like we're deeply lonely in this real world, so we run to video games to escape it. Maybe we look for that old school feeling of safety and immersion and connection. But when we get there, we find out that the corporate world got there first. They had their step in the door first. I mean, it's weird, right? It's just odd. And lastly is the rejection of a system. It's exactly why so many of us are starting to retreat backwards. It's why you see this massive wave of people burning out on modern multiplayer titles. I'm circling back here, but where you're running solo high rounds on 14-year-old zombies maps, or you locking themselves away in a single player worlds that don't ask anything from them other than just to be there. Solo gaming wasn't just a preference for a lot of people. or for a different genre anymore. Maybe it's an act, right, of self-defense in some ways. There are hundreds of videos on YouTube where there's this really interesting one about how Souls-like teaches you to hard decisions in life or something like that. If you search it up, you'll probably be at the top of a recommended. But I think in some ways, to add on to that, it's also a way to reclaim a space where you don't have to perform for anyone. You don't have to buy anything, and you don't have to navigate the exhausting politics of a hyper-optimized world. It's just a tiny, quiet sanctuary, where you can finally slow down, or maybe let the noise of modern life fade out. Remember what it feels like to just exist without being monitored, tracked, or sold to. I think the industry will keep churning out these massive, beautiful, empty worlds because that's what the data tells them to do. But you don't have to play their game. You can always step off the treadmill. You can look for the things that have actual soul and protect your peace of mind. For some reason, that reminded me of the Black Mirror episode, the 15 million merits or whatever. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I mean, does modern gaming feel empty?